Hook visual black screen. A slow, low-frequency hum builds. Faint radar pings echo. Cut to grainy night vision cockpit footage. The horizon is dark. A pale, elongated shape flashes across the frame. It's gone in a single frame. NARA te mater, NARA to vi light. Oh, they appear without warning. They accelerate without sound. They vanish without a trace. Visual quick cuts. Radar scope blooming with a single blip. Infrared camera feed showing a smooth, heatless trajectory. Control room monitors flashing red. The pilot's hand grips the throttle. Static crackles. Pilot radio. Filtered target is climbing. Rate of ascent is impossible. NARAOV. Oh. For decades, military sensors have tracked objects moving at hypersonic speeds. Beyond Mach 5. Beyond known propulsion. Beyond the limits of atmospheric physics. Visual slow push-in on a classified dossier stamped "You resolved." Pages flip. Redacted lines. Timestamps. Coordinates. Narrator V. O. No sonic boom. No exhaust plume. No control surfaces. Just speed that breaks the rules we built the sky around. Visual title fades and objects moving at Hypersonic speeds. Military sightings that defy physics. Sub-bass note drops. Silence. 123.20 technical explanation visual clean. Minimalist graphics. Air molecules colliding. Heat shield glowing white. A conventional hypersonic missile streaks through the atmosphere, trailing plasma. Narrator V. Oh, hypersonic means Mach 5 and above. 5 times the speed of sound. Over 3,800 miles per hour. At those velocities, air doesn't flow. It compresses, it burns. Visual wind tunnel simulation. Shockwaves form. Metal buckles under thermal stress. Graph spike drag. Temperature, structural load. Narrator V. Oh, known engineering demands trade-offs. Scramjets need precise inlet geometry. Boost glide vehicles bleed speed in descent. Materials crack under sustained thermal shock. G-forces tear apart unshielded structures. Visual cut to sensor data overlay. A smooth, unbroken trajectory arcs across the sky. No heat signature. No deceleration. A sharp 90-degree turn executed at full speed. Narrator V. Oh. Yet tracked objects do not behave like machines. They accelerate instantly. They pivot at right angles. They sustain hypersonic velocity without visible thrust. Without aerodynamic stress. Without the thermal footprint of conventional flight. Visual side-by-side comparison. Left known hypersonic test vehicle. Right anomalous sensor track. The right side shows flat temperature readings, constant velocity, erratic but controlled vector changes. Narrator V. Oh, physics does not allow this. Not with current materials. Not with known propulsion. Not within the limits of human tolerance. And yet the data is consistent. The recordings are verified. The pilots are trained observers. Something is flying through our atmosphere, and it is not following our rules. 30-2600 encounter scenarios. Visual Scenario 1. Pacific Night. FLIR feed from a naval fighter. 2 FA-18s in formation. A distant blip glows white on the radar scope. The scope's refresh rate stutters. Narrator V. Oh. February. Eastern Pacific. Night operations. 2 fighters respond to an uncorrelated track. Radar locks at 80,000 feet. Visual IR camera zooms. A smooth, teardrop-shaped object hovers. No visible seams. No exhaust. Suddenly, it drops. The radar altitude counter freefalls. Pilot radio filtered its descending. Fast. No countermeasures. No maneuvering jets. Narolato V. O. In 3 seconds, it reaches sea level, then stops, hovering against the inertia that should have torn it apart. Visual Scenario 2. Desert Training Range. Daylight. AWACS control cabin. Operators lean forward. Screens show a track diving from stratosphere to 200 feet, then accelerating laterally at Mach 8. Narrator V. O. July. Southwest Training Corridor. AWACS picks up a high-altitude intercept course. Object drops from 85,000 feet. No parachute. No retro thrust. It levels out, then accelerates horizontally. Mach 8 sustained. No shock cone. No ionization trail. Visual ground radar array pings. Thermal satellite overlay shows a cold spot moving at impossible velocity. Operators exchange looks. No one speaks. A narrator V. Oh, the sensors agree. The telemetry does not lie. The behavior is deliberate. Visual scenario 3. Transatlantic dawn. Commercial cockpit. Weather radar shows a clean sky. A secondary contact appears at the edge of the sweep. It matches airspeed, then pulls ahead without turbulence. Narrator V. Oh, November. North Atlantic corridor. Civilian aircraft reports a parallel track. No transponder. No IFF response. Object matches speed for 40 seconds, then accelerates. Leaves no slipstream. Create no wake turbulence. Just clean, silent separation. Visual ATC tower. Controllers track the contact on secondary radar. The blip fades at the edge of the horizon. Silence returns. Narrator V. Oh, 3 encounters. Different theaters. Different sensors. Identical anomalies. 6715 analysis of patterns visual data visualization wall. Map overlays. Red lines connect encounter coordinates. Timeline scrolls. Filters highlight altitude, speed, thermal signature, turn radius. Narrator V. Oh, the pattern is not random. Objects avoid populated airspace. They operate at extreme altitudes. They drop to low levels only during intercepts. They maintain proximity without aggression. They disengage when tracked continuously. Visual algorithm runs cross-references decades of declassified military reports. Clusters form over oceanic training ranges. High-altitude corridors. Restricted zones. Narrator V. Oh, they do not communicate. They do not broadcast. They do not respond to hails, but they react to surveillance. They adjust vector. They test engagement parameters. Then they withdraw. This is not atmospheric illusion. This is not sensor malfunction. This is repeated, recorded, verifiable behavior. 15830 Technology Eliminations Visual Engineering Lab. Composite materials under stress testing. A hypersonic scramjet prototype sits in a clean room. Blueprints overlay on glass. Equations flicker. Narrator V. Oh, we build hypersonic vehicles. We understand the math. We know the limits. Energy density caps acceleration. Drag dictates trajectory. Heat dictates survival. Human physiology caps maneuverability. Visual test footage. Prototype fails at Mach 6. Heat shield delaminates. Control surfaces flutter. Cut to clean sensor tracks of anomalous objects executing identical maneuvers without degradation. Narrator V. Oh, current propulsion requires staged ignition. Known materials require thermal shielding. Conventional flight requires aerodynamic shaping. These objects require none of it. Instant acceleration. Zero thermal bloom. Abrupt directional change at hypersonic velocity. The gap is not incremental. It is structural. We are watching performance that outpaces our engineering by decades. Or centuries. 3920 STR Cateching Plations Visual Secure Briefing Room. Blurred faces around a table. Satellite network diagrams. Radar coverage maps showing blind zones. War game simulations running on monitors. Narrator V. Oh, airspace is a strategic domain. We monitor it. We defend it. We assume we know what flies through it. These objects challenge that assumption. They penetrate restricted zones. They evade interception. They leave no forensic evidence. No debris. No emissions. No signature. Visual Pentagon corridors. Analysts review footage. Radar operators adjust filters. Drones scramble. Empty sky returns. Narrator V. Oh, if they are foreign, the balance of power shifts overnight. If they are autonomous, deterrence models fail. If they are untraceable, sovereignty becomes theoretical. We are training for threats we understand. The sky is presenting threats we cannot classify. Preparation requires acknowledgement. Acknowledgement requires humility. We do not have answers. We only have data. 201017 conclusion. Visual slow pullback from a single radar sweep. The blip appears, pulled, vanishes. The screen returns to static. Cut to wide shot of the night sky. Stars steady, silent. Narrator V. Oh, we record, we analyze, we adapt. But the phenomenon does not slow down. It does not explain itself. It simply moves faster than doctrine, cleaner than engineering, quieter than expectation. Visual final frame. A single coordinate blinks on a dark map, fades to black. Title card appears. Narrator V. Oh, the question is not what they are. The question is, who built them and why are they watching? Visual fade out. Low frequency tone lingers. Silence.